everyone, how's it going? It is Thursday night, which means it is time for yet another case of bad writing. And usually in this live stream, we like to take examples of bad writing, whether they be movies or TV shows or books or comic books or like whatever, kind of break them down and figure out what makes them bad. But tonight, we're going to go off script a little bit and try something new and something different and actually interact with chat and see if we can plot out a murder mystery. And uh, murder mysteries have been on my mind a lot lately because, well, I don't know if anyone out there knows this or not, but I've actually written two of them. So I've got my first one, which is Lawman Rook and Berenger Childhood's End, and this is like a science fiction style sci-fi murder mystery. So like it's kind of like Lethal Weapon meets Firefly, if you're familiar with those at all. And then I have a contemporary mystery that I wrote under the pen name Maxwell Cambridge. It's called Central the Devil's Breath, and it's set in Las Vegas. It follows a concierge detective who is basically a private investigator that the casinos lend out to their high rollers, and they basically, if a high roller kind of gets into trouble and stuff like that, the casino lends this guy out, and he kind of solves mysteries in that respect. So, but I recently went and saw Death on the Nile, which is the sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, and I had a really good time with that movie. I thought it was a lot of fun, and one of the goals that I have for this stream is eventually we're going to be doing a interactive murder mystery where basically it's like a role-playing game in the sense that it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, where I have three people who are role-playing detectives, and I take them through a murder mystery, and with the help of chat they kind of go through and find the clues and interrogate the suspects, and eventually they're going to solve the case, hopefully. And I actually beta tested this thing this last weekend with 3 volunteers, and it went really well. They had a really good time. And so I'm kind of fine tuning it, and we'll probably be doing that sometime in April next month. And it'll be fun, and hopefully people come in and have a good time watching it and trying to figure out the mystery along with the contestants. But in the meantime, I was like, you know what? I really want to kind of do like an interactive writing thing with the chat, because I'm a writer, and I just thought it'd be fun. And actually with me right now is my good friend, Charles KK, who is a very accomplished writer himself. Charles, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And I was like, you know what? I really need another writer to bounce some ideas off of. Otherwise, this is going to be boring quick. And we're going to get to the interactive part with chat. We're just going to give people some time to get into the chat so that we have people there ready to go. But the way this is going to work tonight, guys, is we're going to kind of go through the different phases of brainstorming a story. And I'm going to be polling chat. We're going to be doing some straw polls on the internet where you guys can go and vote on the option you want us to do. And so it's really dependent on the interactivity from the people who are in the chat during this live stream. And the way that this is going to work is, if you just want to participate, you can go. I'm going to be linking the polls in the chat, so you can go there and vote. But if you want to drop some super chats get priority, and the largest super chat wins. So like if somebody drops a $5 super chat and another person drops a $10 super chat, the $10 super chat gets the final say in the writing of the story. And the end goal of this is to come up with a complete outline for a murder mystery that I can type up, and then I'm going to get some voice actors to actually perform the murder mystery, and we'll play it on one of the streams some night, and the chat can actually see their choices kind of play out in real time in an audiobook format, I guess. At least that's the option. I have no idea if this is going to work or not, Charles. I think we were talking before we went live, and I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to show up in chat. I don't know how exactly this is going to work, if it's going to be any good. But speaking of chat, I just want to shout out some people who are already here. Joker Voice, hail, my friend. Good to see you. Hectolorian. Hi, Hectolorian. Good to see you too. Joey's in the chat. Andrew Kinney. Thank you all for being here tonight. I really appreciate you being in the chat. And like I said, we're going to start doing this in earnest in just a couple minutes. We want to give people time to come into the stream. Andre Anderson is here in chat as well. In the meantime, I just want to point out one thing really quick, which is we actually have a special limited edition t-shirt in our store at saltynerdsstore.com. Last month, we did Buffy the Vampire Slayer as our members-only retrospective reviews, and we did the special Bite Me t-shirt, which is actually a really cool t-shirt. It's going to be available on our store until the end of March, and so you can get it there. And then we're taking it down. So if you're a Buffy fan and you want to check it out, head on over to saltynerdsstore.com and get that t-shirt. We're also doing a limited edition one for our Eureka coverage, because that's the March focus show that we're going to be doing, is the old sci-fi show Eureka. And we have a special Global Dynamics shirt there that we're going to be doing. And you can pick that up as well. So I don't think that's up on the store quite yet, but it will be soon. So Charles, thank you for being here tonight. Real quick before we get going, what are you working on right now? Where can people find your books? All that good stuff.
Hi there. You can find my books on Amazon.com under CCEKEKE. I'm currently working on, I just had a release a few days, well, like a week ago, actually. So I'm kind of just finishing up a novella I'm working on. Then I'm going to go on to another novella, and then I'm going to start on my next full-length book after that. And I might even squeeze in a third novella after that. So,
man, you're just squeezing in those novellas.
Yeah.
Joker Voice asked, is this murder mystery starring JCVD with LaForce?
That would be awesome.
So, Joker, you know, if the chat votes to have the main character of this story be Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's going to be the main character. Like, the whole point of this is to interact with you in the chat, get your opinions on what we're going to do, and then eventually do that. So anything is possible as long as you guys want to make it happen.
By the way, I love the Eureka plug. That was a fun show.
It was a fun show, and you know what? Not a lot of people talk about it, and that was
That's
one of the
unfortunate.
reasons. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why we selected it, because it was like a really good show.
You know what I thought was? You know what I thought was a mistake that they made on the show? They should have never killed off the guy who, I forgot her name, Sally Richardson Whitfield. I think Richardson Whitfield. That's the name of the actress. Like, they should not have killed off her husband, because I hate it when they end love triangles like that. Because you had Colin Ferguson, and then you had the other guy with the beard, and then you had Sally Richardson Whitfield.
Yeah. Nathan Stark.
Nathan Stark. Okay, thank you. They killed him off, and he went out in a good way too. But it's just like, you can't do that, because it's like, okay, then she's choosing the guy you want to be with by default, as opposed to actually choosing him because she wants to be with him. Like, that's a cheap way out.
This is true. I also think the actor kind of wanted to get off the show or something like that, so they just kind of wrote him off.
So he could do vodka commercials. Nice, good for him.
Something like that. I don't know. I've seen it. I've seen that actor pop up in a few places, like what was it, True Blood? A few other.
Yes, that's right. He was one of the Texas vampires.
Yeah,
I remember, like, just like Who Killed Your Father. When he was talking to Matt Newland. I think that was his name. The Fellowship of the Sun preacher.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on.
My dog is asking to be let out of the room.
Okay. Okay.
You want her out? Come on.
Anyways.
Dogs, man.
They need you. They need you.
She wants to be in here with me most of the time, but then, like, the minute I go live, she's like, "Let me out of here."
Okay, murder mystery. That sounds super fun. I did a murder mystery in the first two books of my Pantheon Saga series. Like, it was super fun to do it, because I was like that's one of the cool things about speculative fiction, is that you can kind of bleed in other stuff. It doesn't just have to be pure, like, sci-fi or pure superhero fiction or pure fantasy. You can always kind of add in, like, certain elements from other more grounded genres. And so I had that in, and it was super fun, because you obviously come up with, okay, this is what happened and who did it. And then it's like you work backwards. That's always a fun thing. I was like, okay, how can I make it super not as obvious, but that's the fun of it, is how do you make it not obvious? So it's like, you're keeping the audience guessing. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
go with the first obvious choice.
And most good stories have like mystery in them in some sense.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
not a murder mystery necessarily, but there's always like a good mystery at the core there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like for instance, even the first Song of Ice and Fire book, the first Game of Thrones, like Ned was essentially
who killed John Arryn. Yeah.
Who killed John Arryn, and and also who pushed Bran out the window, even though we knew, but we didn't know who killed John Arryn. And it was all interesting, like all the intrigue and the politics and whatnot behind it. And especially when you put sorry, go
on. Who sent the assassin to kill Bran?
Which it pissed me off so much that they completely, again, one of the many follies of the show, they completely scrubbed that away. Like it was all within a line in Game of Thrones. Like all they could have just done is just had Joffrey say that. And you could have added on to that. Like it's a tiny little thing, but it's just like they completely forgot that in the show. Where I remember when they did it.
I was thinking about the books.
Yeah, but in the books,
the show didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, and well, I always keep jumping up, but I remember in the books where it's like where Tyrion figured it out, where and then the thing, and that was great was they also had Jaime figure it out too, to show that when Jaime's not so whipped by Cersei, he can actually think for himself, and he kind of put it together pretty quickly, where it's just like they should have kept the kid. Even Robert said they should have, let the kid die. And he's just like, wait a minute, who was in the room with you when you said that? And then he put pieces it together like, it was Joffrey. He did it, so yeah.
All right. So anyhow, I think we're going to get going here with the interactive writing. So all of you in chat, thank you so much for being here. I want to first proffer to you this question, which is, what genre should we set this murder mystery in? Because it's going to be different if we set it as a like contemporary modern day mystery versus like maybe a historical mystery, like, or in a fantasy setting like we were just talking about Game of Thrones, or even science fiction. So let me just make this poll real quick. So we're going to give you guys 4 options here. That is basically, what genre are we going to write in? Charles, do you have like a preference? Like what is your preferred kind of genre to write mysteries in?
I would say in a speculative fiction. So that gives you a wide range, but you could do it in science fiction. Maybe something like, you can maybe do it in kind of cyberpunk, something that's maybe you have a bit of a hard-boiled situation to it, where you're still a little grounded, but you still have some of the kind of futuristic elements. Depends on what type of world you want to go into. So I'd say sci-fi would be fun. Or you could even do, if you want to, you could do contemporary. Maybe it's near future. So you could have a little fun with that.
So what would your vote be? So we got sci-fi, fantasy.
I go sci-fi. I go sci-fi.
Sci-fi? Okay.
Yeah.
So I will vote for you here.
There's also post-apoc, somebody's suggesting, Joker voices.
Yeah, that would kind of, like, post-apocalyptic, I think, would fall under sci-fi.
Yeah, it would.
And something like steampunk would be under fantasy.
Actually, it could be under sci-fi too, since it's an offshoot of cyberpunk, technically. And it depends on what type of steampunk it is. Like, do you want it to be Wild Wild West, Briscoe County Junior steampunk, or do you want it to be the typical Victorian England steampunk?
Fluffy Panda says, I'm driving, so sorry if I don't add much. Fluffy Panda, if you want to say your choice, I will vote for you. Sci-fi, fantasy, contemporary, or historical, just let me know in the chat. I have posted the link to the straw poll in chat if anyone wants to hop over there and vote real quick. Joey says, post-apocalyptic is timey-wimey, could be here, there, now, or then. This is true, but I'm just going to lump it under science fiction. Joker Voice says steampunk can be both fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to lump it under fantasy, just to make it simple.
Keep it simple.
Andrew Kenny says moist steampunk, cause of steam. We got
that's different.
Yeah. Sean Collette, he says, I think historical allows for a great deal more obstacles. This is definitely true. But
Yeah.
part of the fun of writing mystery fiction is that you come up with obstacles.
Yeah.
And
it depends on and it depends like what type of history do you want to do? Obviously, is it going to be alternate history, which is always fun to do, or historical fiction, that type of thing. Space, yeah. So that could be fun.
So Joker Voice says, a great historical murder mystery story is Gotham by Gaslight.
That's right.
That is a good one.
He's hunting Jack the Ripper, I think.
Victorian steampunk sounds interesting. Okay, so I will vote steampunk for you, which is under fantasy. Your vote has been counted. You have already... shoot, okay. Let's see what the results are. Still 0 votes, even though I voted. That's weird. Train to Busan reveals the setting isn't overwriting. All right, guys in chat, if you haven't voted yet, so far we've got 1 for fantasy, which is Fluffy Panda, 1 for sci-fi, which is Charles, and Joker, what did you vote for? I know you said you voted, but it doesn't seem to be...
I voted 2.
Man, everyone's voting, but I don't see any results here in the poll. I wonder what's going on here.
Oh, that girl in Poet Tale short story.
All right, you know what? Just put your vote in the chat. That way, we will just count it manually here. CSI meets the Old West. That would be kind of fun. Cool. Yeah. All right, so we got 1 vote for sci-fi from Andre Anderson, so that's 2 sci-fi. Joker, 3 sci-fi. Andrew Kinney, 4 sci-fi. Sean Collette, historic, so that's 1 historic. Joey, I don't know how to do a chat poll necessarily, but if you know, that'd be good. Joey counts as sci-fi. Okay, so it looks like science fiction is going to be the winner here. All right, so let's hop on over to our little document here. So our genre is going to be science fiction. Right, do you guys have like a preference on like what subgenre of science fiction? I know someone mentioned post-apocalyptic. What are some other things? So we got like post-apoc. We got Other Planet. I guess. We got spaceship. Space Station. Alien Invasion. What else? Can you think of any other subgenres, Charles? Cyberpunk.
Colonization. Maybe kind of a nice, like, you could even do like space western where it's like, hey, we're on a colony, and it's kind of like this guy is investigating maybe a murder on the colony.
Space western. You got that.
Yeah. The murder on Pycon.
So we've got post-apocalyptic. We've got, I'm going to get rid of Other Planet.
Utopian.
Utopian's kind of interesting because it's one of those. It's almost like what do you call it? Demolition Man, right? Where everything's so perfect, and when a murder happens, nobody knows how to deal with it.
They don't even know how to use the 3 C cells.
Chad also mentioned virtual reality.
Kind of like God, what was the name of that movie? It was there's kind of like The Lawnmower Man, and then you also had Virtuosity with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, something like that.
All right, so these are our choices, chat. We have post-apocalyptic, spaceship, so the murder takes place on a spaceship. Space station, murder takes place on a space station. Alien invasion, so this could be a planet being invaded by aliens, or even like in an alien society. Cyberpunk, utopian, space western, or virtual reality. So just in chat, let me know what your subgenre choice is here, and we'll check it out. Okay, let's see here. Joker says, I'm changing my vote to Utopian Space Station. So he's combining the two. All right. So we got 1 vote for Utopian Space Station. Charles, what would you like to see?
I would love to see Space Western.
Space Western. Okay, we got 1 Space Western. Alien Covenant. Is that the movie or is that the subgenre that you're talking about, Andrew?
Hopefully not the movie.
Okay, Fluffy Panda says Utopian. Andrew Kinney says Utopian Alien. So we're going to put 2 more in the Utopian category. Joey says, I really like the Ron Moore 13th Precinct Stoics versus the Mages.
Interesting.
Sean Collette says, I like Utopian Space Station. Space Western would be great too. So I'm going to give...
I think something with a contained space, a contained setting, that way it's almost kind of like a powder keg. It kind of really kind of ups the tension that you could play with in the story.
That's true. Some like those Agatha Christie-esque self-contained mysteries.
Exactly.
That's good.
Like,
so we had 1 vote for Cyberpunk from Andre Anderson. So right now it looks like Utopian is
people
is
like
winning.
that.
Yeah. So we got Utopian Space Station, Utopian. Okay, so how about this? Utopian Alien Space Station.
And I think the fascinating thing, this is not me changing my vote. This is just like I can see the appeal of Utopian because it's almost kind of like Oz the Great and Powerful. Like, what are people willing to do to maintain that utopia? What is the underbelly? What is the grime and grit underneath the bright and shiny surface, which is fascinating.
Yeah. How about this? How about
like
this
Peacemaker?
How about this for the scenario? So humanity has discovered this highly advanced space station, and the people who move in and live on the space station create this utopia, and that's where we're living now. It's this space station that basically takes care of the needs of everyone because the technology is so advanced, and a murder eventually happens on the space station. What do you think of that?
Maybe if it's a ring. So kind of like it could be like kind of like a halo ring. It could be around Earth or it could be around the moon or something. That could be fun. You have fun with that. So yeah.
As Andrew Kinney says, a space station that looks like a moon, so you can say that's not a moon, that's a space station.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Utopian Alien Space Station as the setting. So that will be setting. All right, what is next on our agenda for chat to help us out with? Okay, so the thing I like about the space station setting is that, like Charles said, secluded. So the next thing is going to be, what is our scenario? And this is basically the question that the murder, or the riddle surrounding the murder. Okay, what makes the murder unique? What does the crime scene look like? What is the puzzle that needs to be solved here? So, chat, what do you think about this? Can we come up with a riddle or an interesting murder, like that we can be like, okay, how does that happen? You know, Joey says this sounds like Babylon 5 already. That's
not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Babylon 5 was great.
Sean Collette says, how about the murder can only happen due to the technology being unavailable? That's definitely a scenario that we can add in there. So, Charles, let's brainstorm for a minute. What would be an interesting scenario under which a alien space station utopia has a murder committed? Like, where would they find the body? Would it be out in the open, like in a courtyard, or would it be kind of like in the underbelly somewhere? Would it be one of those things where like somebody doesn't show up for work and they go to their quarters and find like a dead body there?
Or what if the body is found floating outside?
Ooh, that'd be kind of hard to look for clues, though. I guess they'd have to find out where the body was ejected, right?
Exactly.
And
find out where it's ejected.
And was the person murdered before they were shot?
Exactly. And it's it would be kind of a nice thing. Let's say maybe you're having some type of event.
Look at this from Sean. Somebody gets space, yet no evidence of an airlock being used.
Oh, I like that.
That's interesting.
That would be fascinating.
All right, we got Andrew Kinney. The AI that runs the station shuts off after the murder, causes a malfunction in an airlock. Body hangs up on an antenna outside. I like the idea of the AI shuts off after the murder happens. I don't know about the rest of that, but I like the idea that there's something that has gone wrong due to the murder. That's kind of cool.
So it's a high-class person. There hasn't been a murder since the society was established.
I like that. Yeah.
That could work. Especially, you know what? This could be, okay. Maybe another thing you could do, too, with this station is you could have a Downton Abbey situation going on, where it's like you have the workers and then you have the people in the high society living on there. So that kind of is not just the highborn or the upper crust on the station. You actually have maybe some people who are working to keep the station afloat, the real workers there. So that could be something to consider.
What if the station starts breaking down after this body is discovered, and there's a ticking clock thing where they need to find out the solution to the murder in order to save the station and everyone on it before a certain amount of time is up?
That could work.
All right, so basically you have like a class society situation.
Yes. Upstairs, downstairs, or up above and down below.
Okay.
The docks.
Where was it like a royal alien family? Like humans are serving the aliens or something like that?
It could be, it could be that, or it could be the other way around. The aliens are serving the humans. Maybe these are I don't know. These are people who. It depends on what time you're.
If it's a utopian alien space station, I would think that the aliens who designed it would be the upstairs, and the humans who are living there in the society would be the downstairs.
Yeah. Or yeah.
All right. Quick in chat right here. The he, it, she, them, crew member of the station, totally unknown, like where they came from. Joker Voice says, like Brave New World as well. Joey, and infection when they recover the body. So they recover the body, and the body has some type of weird infection that spreads throughout the station. That could be interesting. The AI runs the station for the cultural elite, 1984 style. I like that. That could be good. Other way around. The victim saw something that reveals the plot to take over the station. Oh, that's motive.
They saw something, and there's like, oh, you got to go.
A victim knows something about a plot to take over the station. We'll just note that note down. JT, you are late, but we're just kind of plotting out our murder mystery here. So we've picked the genre, which is science fiction. We've picked the setting, which is a utopian alien space station. And the scenario that we've come up so far, we're still working on this. So a body is found floating in space outside the space station. There's no sign of an airlock being used. And once they bring the body back into the space station, they find out that he was killed before he was jetted into space. And there's a malfunction of the artificial intelligence that runs the station after the murder happens. And they have to figure out the murder before the AI completely shuts down and kills everyone on the station. So there's like a ticking clock scenario. Joey says, what if they aren't dead, but a copy is uploaded in the station core? That's interesting. Joker Voice says, humans have taken over the station. The aliens become disgruntled, District 9 style. Joey, so when they throw him out and restore him with no memory of the murder or attempted murder, that's a little bit altered carbon, I think. I'm not sure if I like that idea. So body is floating in space, no sign of airlock being used. When body is recovered, they discover murder. Where is the actual crime scene? Why was the victim killed. The function of the AI after the murder happens. Situation upstairs, downstairs, where aliens run the station, but humans keep the benefits as maybe like the aliens like run the station and they control it and they make sure everything's functioning, so the humans don't have to worry about anything.
And they become a little too reliant on it.
Yeah. Aliens run the station and humans reap the benefits in perfect society, but rely too heavily on the aliens. And what's the aliens' motivation? For
They are
humans.
They basically, I think maybe their gifts are poisoned. They've come to Earth maybe 100 years ago or 50 years ago or something, built this ring. Earth is completely reliant on them in many ways. They essentially, in many ways, it was a bloodless coup. Or could be a bloodless coup.
Here's interesting. So Andrew Kinney says, no weapons on board space station, none needed because it's utopian. So let's do this. No weapons.
Murderbot.
Space station, but a weapon was used in the murder. And the people who are investigating this are like, I don't understand, where did this weapon have come from? That might be kind of interesting. Artaviki says, I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Nice.
Joey says, okay, so they augment the corpse so it can be a participant in solving the murder. That's an interesting one. What if solving the murder could damage or destroy the peace between the aliens and the humans? That's a much broader thing. So, but I will note that down.
I like that.
So let's see here. Solving the murder could damage or destroy the peace between the aliens and the humans.
Yeah.
Sean Collette says, whoever did the deed has to have detailed information as to how the station works and the technology. And Andrew Kinney says, alien motivation, the station is a food breeding ground for them. Oh, that might be kind of interesting. Where basically like the humans get fat and happy because they're lazy and they don't know how to defend themselves. And then one by one, they start disappearing because the aliens need them for a food source. That could be interesting. Art the Icky says, give me a branch and a sidewalk. I can make you a weapon. It'll be crappy, but a weapon nonetheless. Well, I'm thinking it might be an advanced weapon of some type.
I don't
know. So the scenario is a body floating in space, no sign of an airlock being used. When the body is recovered, they discover murder. Where is the actual crime scene? Why was the victim killed? Okay, so where should we put the crime scene, guys? Where was this guy actually killed, and how was he jettisoned into outer space? Let's do the crime scene. You think he was murdered in his quarters, or was it something like in the back alley maintenance halls of the space station? What's your gut telling you, Charles?
I'd ask what. I have to step back here.
Sean Collette says waste dump. So like the trash compactor, like in Star Wars.
Maybe the body is mostly intact, and not that damaged. So what if he was trapped somewhere, and this was before he was jettisoned? Maybe, this is a space station. You could just, suck the oxygen out of something, and the guy would just asphyxiate. Depending on what he is. Is this a human who gets killed or an alien?
I think we're going to go with a human who gets killed.
Okay.
Real quick, Fluffy Panda says, what if the investigators are from both sides, picked by the AI because they have a rock-solid alibi? So that'd be interesting, where two people on the station are picked by the AI, kind of like what do you call it, Logan's Run style, where they have to investigate
Oh.
that. I kind of like that idea. Let's jot that down. So let's see here. AI picks 2 people to investigate the murder because they have a rock alibi. And it could also be a thing where like the AI doesn't think they can actually solve the murder, or like they're the most likely to solve the murder or something like that. But we could have like an interesting frenemy dynamic between these 2 investigators.
And what does the AI ultimately want?
That's a good question. I guess maybe self-preservation. If it's being shut down systematically, it might want someone to save it.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Yeah,
so
like
Joker Voice has an interesting thing here. It would depend on who the victim is. High elite, low class. Is the victim male or female? So I'm thinking, Joker, that the victim's going to be male, and it's going to be a low class male, but someone who's low class but important.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like if the humans are lower class, then it has to be somebody important.
Yeah. Joey says space vampires. It's always space vampires. This is true. This is true. JT suggests that he was murdered in someone's wife's bed. Be interesting.
Zesty.
Let's see here.
Spicy.
The toilet, he was drowned in blue water. Maybe. Let's see here. Investigators from both sides, like Alien Nation. That could be good. Yeah. So instead of 2 humans, a high elite alien and a human.
As long as no one gets drunk off sour milk, then we'll be cool.
High elite alien and low class human team up. That could be cool. I like that idea. Let's see here. Joey says forced court appearances. I can sympathize. Serving on a court, it's dreary. Let's see here. Ooh, an alien worship center. What if that's where the crime scene is? Like a part of the station that aliens use to worship something.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, that would be interesting because then you'd have to delve into what exactly is the religion of this alien. Like you could creating in the world building, it's like, okay, what makes these aliens different from humans? What exactly is their culture, and what exactly is their god or gods? So that would be something maybe to consider. You could play with.
Yeah. Art to the Icky
and also how do they mingle with humans?
Yeah.
What is the tensions there?
I'm actually thinking that the aliens never mingle with the humans. Like there's always this separation there, and this is something that forces them to come together. And there's like a society clash type thing. Art to the Icky says the victim could be a hooker. They always die. This is true. Let's see here. Andrew Kinney says the AI wants to form a government of humanoids so it can set up running the station. It has reached sentience and self-awareness and wants to leave. What if? Okay, Charles. What do you think about this?
Like her.
Well. What do you think about this? Okay, so the AI has reached sentience, right? Mm-hmm. And the ultimate plot is there's a killer who wants to kill the AI, and that's why it's slowly shutting down. And the initial victim tried to stop this killer, and then these 2 odd couple police utopian detectives discover the plot to destroy the AI, and without the AI, everyone on the station dies. And so they need to figure out who's trying to kill the AI and stop him before he succeeds.
Somebody who's a fanatic, maybe somebody who does not believe AI should be sentient or should have that much power.
It could tie into the alien worship.
Exactly. Because they could be worshiping Mini Angled One or Space Cthulhu. Or the blind idiot god. Yes, I'm going full
what if H.P.
Lovecraft there.
Aliens worship the AI, or the humans do, and the killer is trying to destroy the AI because of that.
Yeah, and I think maybe somewhere along the lines there needs to be some star-crossed lovers up in this business. There's an alien or a human, and they're getting it on, even though they're not supposed to. But it's a nice little subplot because it could also it could be a red herring to, oh, we think these people are guilty. Oh no, they're just having sex. They're just having sexy times. Okay, so that could be something to put on the side as potential suspects.
All right, so the killer is trying to kill the sentient AI because the aliens worship the AI. The initial victim tried to stop the killer, or was able to somehow protect the AI by protecting the AI, and had to be removed. He tried to hide the body by jettisoning it out into space, but the body was discovered. I like that setup.
Yeah,
I like it.
And but there has to be, because they worship the AI. And this might be somebody who worships the Cthulhu monster or whatever the alien god is. And you know what? Okay, here's another thing too. It could be that is, aside from, I like this because this is what maybe has been unifying the aliens and the humans, is worship for this AI, which is deviating from. And I think what maybe could happen is that the person who's dead, even though he's kind of high amongst the low-class humans, he is like a preacher. He's maybe the main preacher or pastor who's celebrating this AI. So that's why he had to die, because it's like, okay, they're thinking it's like you cut off the head of the snake, just cut off the head, then the body will die.
Well, what if the human high priest is basically just like one of the skilled technicians who keeps the AI running and helps it to achieve sentience?
I like that.
And the only way to attack the AI is to get rid of this guy so he can't like cleanse the code or something like that.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
I like this plan.
All right, let's see here. Fluffy Panda says the two sides can ask each other about rumors or assumed quirks they've heard humans and aliens have or do. That'd be interesting. All right, so we have our basic scenario here, and we have our crime scene, which is the Alien Worship Center. Let's see here. The next one is our investigators. So we've determined that there are going to be two of them, right? One alien, one human.
Mm-hmm.
Investigators. All right, so who are the aliens, guys? What are we going to call them? What do they look like? What's their backstory? Let's hear some ideas. Let's hear some name ideas, and let's hear some description ideas. Let's go, chat. We got 13 people in chat. Surely we can come up with something. Joey says the AI is always the villain. What if it's like Hal, the guy who was trying to make it sentient? The AI saw that as against its programming, so it killed him. Ooh, that's pretty good. The AI is the murderer. That's something I'll keep in mind, Joey. I like that idea. All right, Charles, can we think of a good alien name for the species?
Let's see here.
First
it depends. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's think about how they look. I think that might help. That will inform them.
Are they humanoid?
I'd say humanoid enough. Maybe I wouldn't say near humans. Maybe humanoid-ish. Depends on, like, they have maybe some traits of different animals, but they're not like, oh, this is the amphibious one. This is this one. It's like, maybe there's horns. Maybe, some have fins, and also even more so, because this is something I hate that they do in certain space opera or sci-fi. Got to remember that there's ethnicities amongst them, just like there's subspecies in humans. There's subspecies with these guys too.
Well, Joey a while back, he said space vampires. It's always space vampires. What if they looked like vampires? What if they were kind of had like vampire characteristics? So like they're humanoid, but they got like, quasi Nosferatu features or something. Like,
I could
do we want the aliens to be like attractive, or do we want them to be alien like ugly? That's what it
depends on
comes down to.
maybe there could be, just to not make it too convoluted. Maybe you could make it like maybe two subspecies. Maybe one of them is very beautiful, the other is kind of not.
You know what? I want to just keep the aliens as like one thing. I don't want to get too in the weeds
Uh,
about like, the different variations of the aliens. I just want a simple, straightforward, here's what our aliens look like for now.
well, they at least wear different clothing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I can work with that. I do like the Nosferatu. Maybe they don't look like the beautiful vampires. They look like, because again, whose standard of beauty are we talking about? We're talking about the human standard of beauty. So maybe there's kind of, they look like the ugly Nosferatu, the one that kind of doesn't look that human.
Or do we
There's
want
some,
them to look kind of like elves? Like they're taller than the average human, they're more slender,
well, they'd be
but they're
beautiful then.
beautiful. Yeah, like do we want to go in that direction? Because you said that you wanted to have some hot alien on human action going on here. Would a human really be bumping uglies with like a crazy Nosferatu vampire looking guy?
You'd be surprised. Sometimes people have game. Game recognizes game. I mean, look at it. You've seen some people who are just like, really? And then I was like, oh, okay, I can see it. They have game. So
He says lizard people.
Taller Asgards. I do like maybe having them be too thin. You don't want them to look like the Avatar things. But I do like the kind of maybe taller, thinner. And maybe what it could be is that maybe there's some characteristic about them that is kind of like, wow, that's gorgeous. Like the eyes or something about them. It's like maybe their face looks alien, but it's like there's these eyes and there's enough human character or human-ish characteristics where it's like, okay, I can see them,
All right. So Andrew
Yeah.
Kinney offered a name for them called the Chi. So we're just going to go with that, the Chi. And they are
or the shy.
The Shy, yeah. All right, we'll call them the Shy, the Chai. So
Chai.
taller than humans.
And
slender.
maybe they have, and maybe you got to think about the bone structure. Is their bone structure hollow like a bird, or is it very dense, even though they look like they're leaner?
I'm going to say dense. Like I want them to be more
like
physical. Even though they look not physically strong, they're actually stronger than.
And
humans.
that could be, well, here's the thing. Yeah, it's like they'd have to maybe they come from a lighter gravity world, because I just thought to myself, heavy gravity would be cool, but then they'd be shorter if they came from a heavy G world. Like, so let's not worry about that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that so genetically they enhance themselves with denser bones, but they're spacefaring, which is why they're tall and slender.
And maybe about their skin. Maybe their skin is cartilage, like maybe they have an exoskeleton instead of an endoskeleton. Who knows?
I want them to have regular skin. We're going to make them tan, I think, instead of pale.
Or bronzed.
Bronzed. I like that word, bronzed.
And they actually look bronze, not like just olive skinned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Metal bronze.
Yeah. We're going into Red Rising here almost.
And what if they had like bright red eyes?
I could see that. Fiery,
yes. Fiery red eyes. And highly intelligent. And
intelligentsia.
Regal in a certain way. All right, so that's our aliens, the Chai. That's what they look like. So let's talk about our investigators. Who are we going to have investigating this? We need names, people. Chat, can you think of a name for our human investigator? This is something that we need to think of here. Joker says, you need a low-level informant, like a bartender. I suggest me. Make this happen, chat. Okay, Joker, we're going to put a bartender character.
Need one of those
in this story, and you can name him whatever name you want. We will make it. Okay, Dennis Wright just said, just joined. So murder mystery in space. I can dig it. Yes, we're plotting out a science fiction murder mystery on a utopian space station right now. And we've got 2 intrepid detectives, 1 alien, 1 human. We're trying to figure out who these are. But first, we need a bartender character name. Joker, what's his name? Bartender's name is Dash. Okay. Dash, is the bartender human or alien, Joker?
Dosh. Maybe call him Dosh if he's alien.
Maybe. Joker, human or alien? And what's Dash's last name?
Rendar? Sorry.
Okay. So Joker has said that Dash is a human.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We need a last name.
Dashel.
Last name for Dash. Dash Dashel. Right. No last name, just Dash. Like
Dash.
Okay, fine.
Jesus.
No last name. All right, so guys.
No last name that he's revealed.
Yes, exactly. Human, alien. All right, so we need our human investigator and our alien investigator.
Dash.
Dash Maxwell. I like that. Name's Dash. Dash Maxwell. Okay. Let's see here. Backyard Tar says, if you make the aliens tall, smart, and strong, it makes humans suck. They need something we are much better at. Maybe speed and reflexes. Maybe durability. I don't know. That's something we'll think about. Let's see here. Fluffy Panda says, alien should be a female scientist or doctor. So should the alien investigator be female? What do you think, Charles?
A
male human,
what
female
if
alien?
let's go with that. Yeah, I like that. Male human, female, or even a female human, male alien.
Let's go with male human, female alien. Right. Dennis Wright says
hot female
alien, of course. Yes, of course she's going to be hot. You can't have an ugly female alien. He says we need a cross-species romance. Damn it! Yes, I think Charles is on board with you on that one. Okay, Artaviki says call one of the detectives Chip Calhoun. Okay, so the male human is Chip Calhoun. What's going to be our Chai female alien's name?
Shiara Sea Star. Sorry, got a Game of Thrones there. But maybe something that's kind of like maybe androgynous. At least to humans would be androgynous, but it's like a really common name for her.
I like so Joker just said female alien name Omega or O apostrophe Mega. I think that would be a good last name for her, probably.
Yeah. Callan.
Talon?
But,
is that what you said?
Callan, but then his name's Calhoun, so that wouldn't work.
So Andrew Kinney says Dushan.
Ooh.
I like that.
I like that as the first name, but you might have to change the bartender's name then.
So Dushan. Oh, we're gonna spell it Maga. Omega. Yeah, it's an Irish female, hot female alien. How about we do this? We just put an apostrophe here, so that looks like an alien name. Let's see here.
But that would be too similar to Dash, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, you're right. Joker says Tylon.
I like that.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. So let's see here. Ty apostrophe Lon as a first name. Joey says, train to Dushan. Yes. Dennis says, Boudica. Boudicca. Something like that. We need a last name for the alien, guys. The hot female alien needs a last name. Andrew Kinney said Morris Piper. Need something a little bit more alien. Let's see here. I like the Tylon. Tylon. What do you think, Charles? Can we think of a last name here?
Tylon Val.
Val?
Or no, Tylon Var.
Var. With 2 R's. Just to make it alien-y. All right. So our human male investigator is Chip Calhoun. Our female alien is Tylon Var. So guys, what does Chip Calhoun look like? What's his physical description? We know that he's a human, right? Is he good looking? Is he like your square jawed detective?
He's Rooney. I'd say he's Mickey. He's I'm gonna say Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney before the plastic surgeries.
No. Joker voice nailed it. He's Nathan Fillion. Okay, so we're just gonna put that.
Okay,
Nathan
Fillion. Okay, Curry Russell. We need Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell actually wouldn't be bad. That would actually be good too. Tango and Cash, Kurt Russell.
Exactly, Kurt Russell would be great. But
which means he has to have the mullet.
Yeah, the hockey mullet.
Totally. The 80s mullet. The 80s mullet. The hockey. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go with Nathan Fillion as the stunt casting for this one because I just think that's perfect. I could see him as Chip Calhoun.
Tom Cruise? No, definitely not.
Yeah. So guys, what is Chip Calhoun's function on the station? Like, what does he do exactly, and why is he picked to be?
Maybe he's a security guard. Maybe he's kind of like.
Would you really need security on a utopian space station?
That's true. Yeah. So okay, you know what? God, what does he do then? Maybe then he's been retired because he's recently been elevated or ascended onto the station, and he was a detective. He was in some type of law enforcement. So with him, he's kind of struggling to find his purpose. He doesn't really fit into this utopia because he's just like this doesn't feel right. Something feels off. So that's kind of the thing. That's what makes him an outsider, is that he's been struggling to fit in and get along to go along, but something feels off. And so he's, I wouldn't say excited, but like getting back into an investigation is kind of like, he's almost relieved because it's like, okay, normal.
I kind of want to keep this where like there are no investigators in this utopia. But
the utopia is on the ring. It's not on Earth necessarily.
Well, this brings up an interesting question. So Joey Joey says, "What's the station name? We haven't even named the space station yet."
Eden.
Eden. You want to name it Eden?
Space or you can be, or we can find. It could be Eden. It could be Elysia. No, that's too much. Like no, Elysium. We don't want that. We could call it. I won't call it Folkvanger. That would be interesting. You could call it Asgard. You could call it Olympus. You could call it maybe something that's like heavenly. It has some type of heaven because this is kind of what it is. It's like, this is a utopia. Things are awesome. So we're going to call it that. And they called it that to kind of be like, hey, since, the Earth people, the Terrans that we work with, we want to kind of make it more kind of attuned to your thing. And maybe this is kind of what these aliens do. They're bloodless coups. With their utopias. So maybe they're calling it something that's akin to Earth, and they want it to be something that people on Earth aspire to get onto, but they're just getting more worker bees to get on the station.
I actually think Eden is a pretty good name for the space station. So we're just going to go with that for now. We can always change it later if we think of something better. Let's see here. So in terms of Chip Calhoun's profession, I like Joker's voice. His
information specialist.
Like the idea here is that because this is a utopian space, there's no crime. They don't need security. The AI probably provides security for the station. So the idea here is like maybe Chip Calhoun is a professional problem solver. Like he's someone who's very good at troubleshooting stuff. Maybe, or maybe he's someone who's like an outlier who doesn't really belong, and he's kind of looked down upon by the other residents.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is that it's like he doesn't really fit in because part of him doesn't really buy this utopian stuff. He's recently ascended.
Art to the Icky says chief reactor engineer, but what if he's not the chief? What if he's just like a reactor, like a lobby, like no one who's very special?
Good idea. That's a good question. And who is his friend? Maybe Dash is his best friend. Dash is probably the one person who kind of plays both sides well, because yeah, he kind of sees this as BS, but at the same time, he's found a way to integrate with this.
Art to the Icky says reactor engineer specialist.
Yeah,
I like that. So he's a reactor engineer specialist.
He's a problem solver, and so we see maybe early in the story how he kind of thinks outside the box.
You know what? I feel like no one on the station should actually have like a real job. I feel like this guy should be like a stand-up comedian, who is really bad at being a stand-up comedian, and so he performs at the bar that Dash works at, and he keeps trying to be a good comedian. Everyone's like, why did the AI choose a bad comedian to investigate this murder?
Yeah.
And so like he's like, I don't know anything, but maybe he's like super observant, so he knows like how to read an audience or something like that.
Red shirt reactor Spectre. That's nice. Dash is like Quark, outsider, slimy, con man. I do like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, who's there to con in a utopia, right? Because like you literally get everything you want in a utopia.
Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't need a job. Yeah. So okay.
Artadiki says so. He's basically Dane Cook, right? Yeah. he's Dane Cook in space.
Yeah, with less yelling.
And Andrew Kinney says that comedian is gold. I like this. He's a failed comedian who does gigs at the bar because he wants to be funny. He doesn't understand humor. You know, he's trying to figure it out. Or people don't get his style of humor, and that's how he knows Dash, because he's always at the bar when Dash is working.
Yeah, and Dash is just like, ugh. Yeah.
Okay, so what about Tylon? What does she look like? Like, who can we cast? Who can we cast in the Tylon Var role?
It would probably be some mocap, but you could maybe do Olivia Wilde, or you could do who else? God, who's another good one?
Who's another hot lady?
Hot lady. There's so many. Who can act too? Who can act?
What about the girl from the Hunger Games? What's her name? Jennifer
Lawrence?
Yeah.
Or Jenna Malone?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
She might be good. Joker Voice is saying Carrie Russell. Backyard TARDIS is saying Rosario Dawson.
Those are good choices.
I kind of like Rosario Dawson.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She'd be good too.
Yeah, she's tall and slender.
Yes, so you're halfway there. Hallie Steinfeld would always be good.
Yeah, why don't we go with that? Why don't we go with Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
I like that one. Yeah,
I like her.
Yeah, we want somebody who has some ranges, can work with that.
Yeah. All right. So what does she do on the stage? I want her to have like an actual serious position, right? To kind of contrast with like the failed comedian Chip Calhoun.
Maybe she's from one of the royal houses in the Aliens, or one of the royal families, one of the higher families.
Joker Voice says she's a royal advisor. I like that. So
or she's close to power. She's close to power.
Yeah, she's close to power. So royal advisor.
A successful comedian, nice.
Archie Vicky, yeah, that's a good one. She's a successful comedian. We're gonna go with royal advisor though. Dennis Wright said stewardess.
No.
Okay, so we've got our investigators now. Now let's go with the victim. So like we already kind of figured out that the victim was a high priest, right?
The high priest.
High priest in service to the AI. What's his name though? We gotta give the victim a name.
John Smith. No. No, I know. Let's see here.
So we also need a title, like because he's the high priest, he needs like some type of venerable title to distinguish him, right?
I have a name.
Okay.
Hiroko Saki.
Roko Saki?
Actually, probably not that name exactly. Maybe we could call him Hiroshi Yamada. No, that's too long. Hiroshi. I think you know what Hiroshi.
What about Roko Hiroshi?
I like that too. It'd be an
Roko
I.
Hiroshi.
It would probably be an I though, just a FYI.
What's that?
It'd be an I.
Where? Spell it.
I E instead of an E, it would be an I. Hiroshi. Yeah, there you go.
Roko Hiroshi. Okay.
And by the way, you completely missed my Turtles shout out. My Turtles gem that I put in.
Oh, really?
Hiroko Saki. That's Shredder.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
We got Andrew Kennedy saying Saddam Nupsa from The Golden Child. Yeah.
The voice of the high. Ooh.
Kaiser Soze.
I like Joker voices. The voice on high.
Ooh, that is good. The High
That's
Priest.
a nice title.
Yeah. The voice on high. I like that. Yeah. The voice on high, Roko Hiroshi. So who would we get to play? Like, who are we casting as Roko Hiroshi?
Ken Watanabe. But that'd be a waste for him. He's such a good actor. I don't want to.
I kind of like. I'd hate to waste him like this, but Hoon Lee. I really like Hoon Lee.
Was he in? God, what's the name of that? Was he in that Showtime show that got canceled? You know what I'm talking about?
Banshee?
The space one. Let's see, The Last Samurai.
So this is Hoon Lee over here. He's been in lots of stuff.
I've never heard of him. I've probably seen him stuff.
We just actually interviewed him on our podcast the other day, and he was a great guy. But he's one of these actors. He just appears in stuff, and he knocks it out of the park. Like he was the King of Siam and the King and I. He was in the show called Banshee, where he played like a transvestite computer hacker. He's in the show called Warrior.
Yeah. What about he was in The Last Samurai? He was like Hiroyuki Sanada. That guy's awesome.
Oh yeah, but he's like just everyone's like favorite Asian actor.
Yeah, everyone's favorite Japanese actor. Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
He was Scorpion in the latest Mortal Kombat.
That's right, he was. Yes.
What was it 2021?
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. Yeah, here he is.
Yes, that'll be him. That'd be good.
Yeah,
and it makes sense. This is kind of an older man who kind of has experience. He kind of has seen things, and it's just like he puts his faith in this AI. The AI will provide to us. And there's a term that they call. They might not call it the AI. There's another name that they'll call it.
That's
all old knives. All the old knives. Chris Pine's pumping out movies.
He certainly is. Let's see here. What's his name?
Hiroko Sanada.
Yeah, this guy's like, God, he's in so many movies and TV shows.
Yeah. The first time I saw him in anything was The Last Samurai. And I thought he was great in that movie.
Yeah, I saw him in like a sci-fi original series called Helix, I think it was.
That show was something else.
He was the only good part about that show.
Yes, that show was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah. All right. Who's the voice of the AI is what Dennis Wright wants to know. Want to do Morgan Freeman? I think someone suggested him earlier.
Or you can just do Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. All right, chat. We need a vote here. Who should be the voice of the AI? Morgan Freeman or Paul Bettany? Get a quick vote in the chat. Do 1 for Morgan Freeman, 2 for Paul Bettany. Let's see who this is. So, let's see here.
Jennifer Connelly, good choice.
Jennifer Connelly's another good choice.
She did Veronica.
Let's see here. Andrew Kinney said the AI is Leviathan.
That could be a godlike name. I can see that.
Is that the name of the AI?
That could work. Leviathan, all hail Leviathan. His followers are Leviathanites.
Or Levinites?
Levinites, that could work that too.
Yeah. What if it's Leviathan instead of Leviathan?
That could work, whatever works.
I kind of emphasize the thon.
The thon.
Yeah. All right. Joker Voice says 3, none of the above. Morgan Bethany, we just combined the voices. Ooh, no. Fluffy Panda has it. William Shatner is the voice of the AI.
Denny Crane.
Yeah. All right, Fluffy, you win. William Shatner, voice of the AI. Love it. JT Gunter says the Trong song. Okay. All right, so we've got the victim, High Priest, the voice on high in service of the AI, Roko Hiroshi, played by Hiroyuki Sanada. Okay, so we got our victim. Let's see here. What's next? Okay, suspects. We need some suspects.
The usual.
All right, chat, we need at least 3 suspects that we can kind of investigate, look into. Who would want to kill the voice on high or has motivation to do so?
I'd say there could definitely be somebody in the alien upper echelon.
Okay,
somebody that.
One alien?
Yeah. And then I'd say you'd have somebody amongst the flock of AI, because of the AI worshippers, because maybe they disagree with the direction of the group.
Okay, Joker Voice says royal family member. Okay.
Yes.
So we will do a royal family member. Dennis Wright says his mistress and his gay mistress. Whose mistress, Dennis? Who are we talking about here? Are we talking about Roko Hiroshi's mistress? So we will do mistress. What if the mistress is like a half human, half alien hybrid?
That could work.
Or what if it actually, like, since he's like an AI guy, what if his mistress is a robot, like a sex bot, android?
That would be interesting. That would add some intrigue.
Yeah, do that. JT Gunter almost beat me to it. He said a cyborg. Let's see here.
A member of the flock.
A high member.
Yeah, exactly.
So we will do the human as a high member of the AI flock, hungry for power.
Hungry, and now it's like now he gets to flourish. He's risen up. He's basically using.
Ooh, what if he's the replacement for Hiroshi?
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's using that now. He's using it like he's taking them in different directions, and that leads to some discontent. So maybe in the investigation, Chip and Ty Lon will kind of hear from disgruntled members who just like, well, he would have never done this, like Hiroshi. So that leads them to be like, maybe.
Dennis can insult him and imply he's making love to a toaster. Suspect number 4 and cyborg named @R2 the Icky. That's the way to do it. If the aliens are separate from the humans, who would have had access to the crime scene? Was it in a human domain or alien? What if they share the worship site? So like sometimes the humans are in there worshiping, then the aliens use it too. It's the only place where the two societies intersect in the space station.
Yeah,
I like
I
that.
like that.
All right.
And then there's other places where people are intersecting.
All right. So we need a name for the alien royal family member. What are we going to name this one? Chat, any ideas for another alien name for the Chai royal family member? Joker Voice says that the bar is an intersection point as well. I like that too.
Yes, that's very true.
Although it might be better to keep like the bars segregated. So like the humans have their bar, the aliens have their bar. They don't want to be mingling with one another.
Well, I'll admit there has to be some intersection elsewhere, because given the running of the station, yes, the AI can only do so much, but they'd have to have known, like, maybe there's some type of meeting where it's like they find, like, okay, just kind of keeping an eye on the running of the station, because maybe there's some slight distrusts, which they paper over as best as they can. Axula. Ooh, I like that. Axula.
Yeah, so Joker Voice recommended Kaivor and Artadeki Axula. So we're going to go with Kaivor Axula as the alien royal family member. Fluffy Panda correctly points out. Yeah, Fluffy Panda correctly points out.
Oh, of course not.
The killer shouldn't be on the main suspect.
Never.
These are red herrings that we're doing right.
Red herrings. We're throwing people off.
All right. Fluffy Panda says Kaivor sounds good. Okay, what's the human guy's name? We need a human name for the member of the AI flock who's hungry for power, the replacement for Hiroshi. Are we going with another Asian name, or should we go for like an Irish name? Who are we going for?
Joel Olstein.
All right, I want to point this out real quick. So Dennis says, make the killer the AI, and I think that's going to be the twist, right?
Yeah.
I think that the twist is going to be the AI, or the high priest recognized that the AI was becoming sentient and becoming a threat and tried to stop it. The AI killed him and chose the least likely people to solve the crime, but it just so happened that they're good at their job, or their assignment at least, and they discover that the AI is actually the killer and is presenting a danger to everyone on the station.
Yeah. Kind of like Hal.
Yeah, I like Hal. Ooh, Joker Voice has Jake McTavish. I like McTavish, but we're going to go with Andrew here. We're going to go with Quinn McTavish. I like Quinn as the first name. Quinn Tavish as the human member of the flock. Okay, guys, we need a name for the android sexbot mistress.
Sexbot?
Can't be Sexbot 3000.
No. And by the way, wait. Here's a question. Whose Sexbot is she?
Well, she is Roku Hiroshi's Sexbot. And nobody knows that.
Oh my God.
No one knows that she's an android because she's so advanced.
But here's the thing, though. What if the android is an avatar for the AI?
that could be it too. We got Bangbot 9000, we got Bootybot, we got Slut-199. Dennis Wright asks, which person is Kadish's self-insert? Well, of course, it's the Nathan Fillion character, Chip Calhoun. Of course, that's my self-insert. Let's see here. AI was counting on them not being able to work together. Yes, that's why it chose them.
It's just a matter of
Backyard Target says Kimiko, so we're going to go with
or Kimono Wanalea.
Kimiko. We need a last name for her.
Kimiko. Well, why does she need a? No, she's an android. Unless she's posing as a human, then it doesn't make sense.
So she is posing as a human, and part of the investigation reveals that she was this android that Roku created with the help of the AI, because he wanted the AI to be able to move around the station in a body, right?
Kamiko Lau.
Spell that L-A.
A-U.
Lau. Kamiko Lau. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. So
All right.
we've got our suspects here.
So I actually need to head out, but it's been real. It's been fun. In fact, it's been real fun.
Before you go, so guys, that is our stream for the day. We basically we covered all the stuff I needed to hit, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stuff, I'm going to write up an outline, and I will share it with you guys on our Discord for you to pick apart and give us notes and stuff like that. Charles, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and
thanks for having me,
and doing this interactive writing thing. I'm really glad that I was able to get someone to come on and help me out with this. Why don't you tell people where they can find your books and find you on the socials and all that good stuff?
You can find me on Amazon.com, and you can also find me on Facebook, CCKK, and Instagram. I don't really use Twitter, but if you want to follow me on Twitter, cool. I'll post things periodically, mainly just about my books. But yeah, you'll just find me on the socials. I do not have TikTok for various reasons. But yeah, it's mainly Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter.
All right, Charles, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll catch
you
later.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right, chat. Guys, thank you so much for all your interaction. You had some really great ideas. You had a lot of fun suggestions that we were able to kind of comb through. So now that I have the skeleton of what the story is going to be about, the next phase is going to be actually typing up an outline for it and getting you guys to kind of come in, maybe give me some notes and add some ideas here and stuff like that, because we're not done with this. This was just the beginning, and this was an experiment to see what we could come up with in like an interactive writing style. So I really appreciate you guys coming in and trying this out with me. I think we had up to 12 people in the chat, and it was so much fun to have you guys here and throwing out ideas, even though some of you weren't taking it quite too seriously, but that's okay. That keeps it kind of light. And I mean, who knows, if all of you guys just wanted to go crazy with this, we could have made it into a comedy. Yeah, like I'm really happy with what we came up with. We got about 3 pages of notes here for me to work with, and then we will keep it. We will post it on the Discord, and you guys will be able to go through it and figure out all this good stuff. Let's take this to the point where we can actually get some voice actors to come in and do like a narration, and we'll play it live on stream for you guys. And I will list all of you guys as collaborators on this thing, because you definitely helped out. And also stay tuned for our interactive murder mystery stream, which will be coming sometime next month, probably, or at the end of this month at the very earliest. That's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have ways for you in the chat to interact with the murder mystery RPG that we're going to be playing, and all that good stuff. I'm still kind of trying to make sure that it's fun to watch and play, but we're definitely going to be doing that sometime soon. So I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. I know this is a very different stream than what we usually do on this channel, but I just wanted to try to experiment with it and see what we could come up with. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And to all of you out there watching the replay, I hope you had as much fun with this as we did. And we will be maybe posting this, like the finished product, somewhere for people to actually check out and read and see what we came up with for it. So thank you guys so much. And as always, stay salty, my friends.